everybody, SHADRACH here, and today I'm bringing you a Platinum solo that takes place on Glacier versus Geth. I chose to use the Krogan Vanguard and the Venom Shotgun with the spare thermal clip capacity and the high caliber barrel. I chose to use the disruptor rounds. I know I've been using incendiary rounds quite a bit, but I found that the Venom Shotgun really wasn't priming the enemies with the incendiary effect very well. So I thought I'd give the disruptor rounds a try. They seem to work out really well against the Geth. I used the Shotgun Rail ME3 with the survival loadout and the Cyclonic Modulator 4. I didn't spec into Carnage. I found that Carnage really didn't... I'm sure it would have helped, but having my full passive, my full fitness, my full biotic charge, and my full barrier, I definitely felt that that was more of a priority. You guys can go and check out my build video. I posted it a little while ago. Every time I do a Platinum solo, I'm posting a build video previous to the Platinum solo being aired, just so that way everyone can kind of get an idea of what loadout I used, what equipment I used, how I spec the character before they actually watch the solo. And if you don't want to watch the build video or you don't want to watch the solo, you can watch either or instead. So I'm doing that just to give you guys a little more options. So starting out on wave 1, this is actually a strategy. This is how Invader 1 first did his solo on the Glacier Hazard, the Thunderdome. So I'm starting out right here, and basically what I'm doing, I'm looking down this hallway, trying to force the spawn to the left side up towards the LZ, and then I just backtrack down this ramp. I'm going to cut around here, and I'm going to meet the enemies head on. Hopefully they're going to either spawn, like I said, in the top left cubby, or on the left side of the map where the LZ is. And I kind of ran up the stairs there in the middle just so that way they didn't go down the long ramp. So they targeted me, so they're coming straight for me. I want as few enemies coming down that long ramp where I started as possible. I really like starting out here. I can do a lot of damage here. Usually when I start out here, I run out of ammo before I get overrun, and that's a big part of why I decided to use the spare thermal clip capacity with my Venom. It definitely seemed to outweigh the need for the lightweight mod, and I think the lightweight mod only gave me about a 10% faster recharge time on my biotic charge, which really didn't make that much of a difference. My biotic charge was pretty much ready when I needed it every time, so the sacrifice was worth it. As you can see right here, I'm getting a little greedy. Definitely should have got out of there a little bit sooner, but looks like I got out unscathed. This was a very difficult solo. I actually tried it a couple times prior and did really, really well. I got good objectives. This solo right here is another one of those nightmare solos where you get devices on wave 3 and then you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I got devices on wave 3, it couldn't get any worse. Probably won't see devices again, and then all of a sudden on wave 6, oh, got devices again. Then all of a sudden on wave 10 you're thinking, okay, there's no way they're going to give me devices, and lo and behold, wave 10 comes around and I got devices again. So this was a very difficult solo for me. Like I said, I tried it prior. I did really well. I made it to wave 9 my first try, wave 10 my second try. It really was a very simple, very smooth running solo, and this time it was a real struggle. I don't know what was different except for the objectives, I guess. I was a little bit tired. I did this in the morning when I was just kind of waking up. I didn't really have a good warm-up or anything, but still, that didn't really, 15 minutes into the solo, I'm pretty warmed up, so I don't know, maybe my mind just wasn't there, but I decided to post it anyways because I was really impressed with the fact that I got objectives on objective waves 3, 6, and 10. I got the devices and I was able to pull it off. I don't really see a lot of solos. I can't even really think of any solos. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there, but it's very rare that you see people posting Platinum solos where they get devices on waves 3, 6, and 10. And pretty much the reason why is because most people don't pass that solo when they get devices on 3, 6, and 10. It's a very difficult thing to do because it takes a lot of resources to do those devices, especially on a small map like Glacier. Those devices are a nightmare. Trying to pull the enemies far enough away from the device and then run to the device and get it done before they basically follow you to the device it's very difficult. You have Banshees on wave 10, which really move fast, plus the Phantoms, and the Bombers, and on and on. It was not easy. It's very stressful too, so you start to play worse when you get stressed out, I find, and having devices on 3, 6, and 10 just really stresses you out. Trust me. So anyways, as you noticed, I posted the video, so I obviously pulled it off. Another solo that I had that was really frustrating that I got devices on 3, 6, and 10 was my Condor solo. That's one of my most, I guess you call it a trophy solo for me, one of my favorite solos that I've done, one that I'm most proud of anyways. It was extremely difficult. I've had people comment saying that, oh, well, the reason I was able to pull it off is because I used the Turian Ghost Infiltrator. But honestly, I don't care what character you use on that map against collectors, but any character, it's not an easy solo. I really don't care what character you're using. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not trying to act like I'm super, good at doing solos and whatnot, but even a solo on Giant with one of the most OP characters in the game, like for example the TGI or the Alliance Infiltrator, like that is a difficult solo. I don't care who you are, like there is no platinum solo that's an easy solo. I know a lot of times a lot of these solos, when you watch them, it looks easy, but it's not. You have to really be thorough, you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. Every move needs to be calculated and thought through so quickly and processed so quickly, and you make a mistake and you pay for it. That's all there is to it. Every time you make a mistake, you pay for it. So it's not an easy task. I have respect for anyone out there who's done a platinum solo. I really do. So as you can see here, I'm really holding this line here. Geth is a little bit slow moving. The primes are definitely jamming him up, and I'm using this little box here on the left for cover really well. Being able to constantly biotic charge, hitting them. Another thing too, a big part of the strategy was I would try to reload my shotgun before I biotic charged, so that way right after I biotic charge I get that 25% bonus to my shotgun damage for about 5 seconds. That really made a big difference for me when I was dealing with, for example, the primes. Taking the primes out was a lot easier with that 25% bonus. And then on top of that, I'm detonating tech bursts when I follow through with a biotic charge after I hit him with my shotgun. So I'm getting a lot of collateral damage with those tech bursts. It's a very nasty combination. I don't really like using disruptor rounds when I play a multiplayer game. They tend to do exactly what they say. They disrupt. Anything that you want to put a layer on an enemy to prime an enemy for a certain biotic or tech effect, incendiary rounds, anything. It puts a layer on top of them, and it just tends to disrupt things, especially biotics. I really don't like using it with biotics unless I'm detonating like a tech burst or something, obviously, which you can do with some biotics. As you can see right here, this is a tactic that I like to use when I'm doing a device. If I'm starting to get shot, I know I'm really close to finishing the device. Only with a Vanguard, obviously. I'll look at an enemy, so that way, as soon as I finish that device, I can biotic charge out and get my shields back, or my barriers in this case, right away. As you can see, that's what I did on that last device. I just lined up my target right when I was finishing that device. I was tapping Y, so instantly I could just biotic charge out of the device and then get my barriers back. The second device right there, that was pretty easy. A big part about the difficulty with doing devices on this map is definitely on 3s, the turrets. The engineers really like to put those turrets right in that middle hallway there, in that middle stairs. And anytime you get a device anywhere close to that turret has a beautiful line of sight on you. It can be a real pain, really. As you can see right here, the device for my third device is in a very awkward spot. Any device in the middle of the map on Glacier is going to be a pain if you're by yourself. It really is. I find that pulling them to the LZ tends to be the best method. You can get them the furthest away. It can be really tricky though, because trying to survive on the LZ is very difficult, especially when you're on the lower half of it and they're shooting down at you. It's definitely not an easy task. So I'm getting pretty close here to feeling comfortable with going in for that device. I pulled most of the enemies away, so I'm going to make a little break for it and see what I can do here. And it's looking good. So far, so good. I'm looking around for a target just in case I start getting shot, and I'm okay. So I'm going to hang out here, keep this engineer from putting his turret down, hopefully. But you know, that's kind of an uphill battle. You stop an engineer from putting a turret down, another one spawns and throws a turret down anyways. So it's good just to be really cautious when you take corners, looking for any possibility of a turret being put up anywhere, so that way you can avoid that. I really enjoyed playing the Krogan Vanguard against Geth. I find that him having barriers and being able to biotic charge to replace his barriers really made a huge difference with his survivability against Geth. Plus, he seems to do pretty well against the stagger effect. This top device right here, I'm trying to get lined up with that block there so I don't get shot from down low, and trying to line myself up with the door frame so I don't get shot from the upper level that's straight in front of me through that door there. It worked out really well. Like I said, the first device I wasn't too upset about getting that on wave 3, but wave 6, you know, a little bit harder, and then wave 10 is just a nightmare for devices. I'm pretty sure that this was a very close solo. I wish that I would have done better. I wish it would have been a lot easier and smoother, but like I said, because the device is on 3, 6, and 10, it really adds to the difficulty factor, and that's why I showed this solo. I was actually contemplating doing it again, but I don't know. Having those devices just really, it raises the bar. It makes it a more impressive solo, at least in my eyes it does. So I basically finished all 4 devices here. Now I just need to clean up the wave, and I can get on to wave 4. I want you guys to pay attention. If you notice, after I do a biotic charge, you can see how much damage my shotgun, the Venom, does to them. It really does a lot more damage. It almost seems like double for some reason. I know it's not. It's only 25%, but it really makes a big difference getting that biotic charge in first. So those first 3 waves, usually waves 1 and 2 are more difficult for most people, and that was actually the easier waves for me this game. I don't know if it was because my nerves got a little shot dealing with all the devices, or if I was just a little tired or what, but I really did well those first 3 waves, and then it definitely was much more difficult coming up. Started making some mistakes here and there, getting a little sloppy. I think that just kind of, like I said, came with being a little bit tired. So wave 4 definitely is a bit dangerous. We have phantoms to worry about. As you can see, I'm sticking to that basic strategy where I start on the long ramp right there, then I turn around and I go down the back door to the middle staircase. I pull him to the bottom, and then I go up the ramp and I continue counterclockwise around the map, stopping at, you know, every choke point basically to turn around and get a couple kills. I really shouldn't be shooting at those primes. It's kind of just wasting ammo. I guess I'm slowing them down, so it really does have an effect. But trying to actually kill the prime, unless you have a lot of time, is really not worth it, just because the smaller little mooks are going to catch up to you, and then you're going to have problems. So chipping away at the wave budget, you know, maybe chasing down the phantoms in particular is a good way of doing it. They do really well for taking that wave budget down. But they are very dangerous at the same time, so you got to be really careful. So right here, this door frame, this is the second major place I like to turn around when I'm rotating counterclockwise around the map. It's a little awkward because you have your right side is covered, so you're shooting over left side cover, which is definitely awkward. I really wish that, I know I've mentioned this before, but I really wish that in the next Mass Effect for the multiplayer, you can switch which shoulder you're shooting over. It would really make a big difference. It would change things quite significantly, especially for soloing. Man, this Venom Shotgun is really nice. I actually I never used to really play with it. I think I talked about this a little bit before in the build video, but the Venom Shotgun was definitely a weapon that I did not enjoy. I have quite a few friends that use it. My friend Krause uses it pretty religiously, and she's very good with it. I never really liked it. I've been using the Acolyte on a lot of solos lately. I actually got a comment about someone who was saying that it was kind of boring to watch me use the same weapon over and over. So I've really been giving a lot of thought to what weapons I should be using, what characters I can use them on, so that way, I try to keep things fresh and keep things new for you guys, as fresh and new as possible anyways. So I kind of thought about things a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, what else staggers? What else applies a good effect besides the Scorpion and the Acolyte? And I haven't really used the Scorpion very much either, so I'll probably definitely be doing a solo in the next week or two with a Scorpion. I think I've done one solo with a Scorpion before. But the Acolyte is definitely a weapon that I've overused, but for good reason. It's an amazing weapon. The effects that it has on the enemies is just phenomenal. I believe it has something like a 5 times damage multiplier on shields. There's my first down. What a drag. Anyways, like I said, I needed something that would stagger, something that had good crowd control, something I could deal with the Phantoms with really well, and something that applied a good effect. So I really felt that the Venom was worth giving another try to, and so I did, and it really started to grow on me. I'm really impressed with it. It definitely has an amazing stagger effect. I feel that using single shot isn't really the way to go. You really want to charge your shot every time, unless the enemy has like 1 bar left or something like that, or you can just give it a quick pop shot because it's going to save you time. I do most of my shots with crowds. I shoot them at the base of their feet, so that way when the bullet spreads, it gives me that good stagger effect. Shooting enemies directly with it, though, it does a lot of damage. It's very nice. I really like it with disruptor rounds. Like I said before, I didn't find that using it with incendiary rounds really did well. I rarely was seeing enemies that were primed. I was using a level 4 incendiary rounds with it too, and I wasn't priming them with incinerate effect. It just was very rare. Using the disruptor rounds, it almost seems like I'm getting the disruptor effect. It's about a 2-to-1 ratio compared to using the incendiary rounds. So my opportunity for tech bursts as opposed to getting fire explosions was about twice as often. So it really made sense to me to use the disruptor rounds. Plus I had quite a few of them saved up, and just because they don't do very well in a team setting unless it's a tech team and you're not really disrupting any priming effects. It really seems to do well. I really like it. I actually used disruptor rounds for my solo, my Thunderdome solo with the Geth soldier. I was using the Acolyte, and I used disruptor rounds, stripped the shields and barriers with the Acolyte, and then finished off their armor or health with the Flamer, and that worked phenomenally. That was a beautiful combination. And it's kind of similar with this, except for I think that there's actually a pretty good armor damage multiplier with the Venom, if I remember correctly. So having the disruptor rounds really complement the weapon. So definitely over this next week or two, I'm going to be looking for other weapons that I would like to use for my solos. So if you guys have any ideas, or there's anything you'd like to see me use or try, just please leave a comment at the bottom of this video on the channel, and let me know what you guys would like to see, and I'll try my best to accommodate your requests. I'm definitely trying to do this for you guys more than anything. I like doing this for myself too, don't get me wrong, but this is to help the community grow. This is to help you guys learn, and if you guys can learn from my mistakes, then the game will progress and the community will progress, and that's a big reason and big part of why I'm doing this. So like I said, if there's anything that you guys need help with, anything you guys would like to see me do, any videos you'd like to see me do, just please leave them in the comment box below the video, or even in the discussion board on my channel. And like I said, I'll try my best to accommodate you guys. I'm actually another weapon I really like to use is the Geth Plasma Shotgun. I'm going to be doing a video really soon with that. I think that has a really good stagger effect. Not so much a crowd control effect, but definitely a good stagger effect, and it's good for priming enemies with certain effects such as disruptor ammo or incendiary or cryo. Cryo ammo is a very interesting ammo. I don't really use it very often. I've been using it quite a bit in speedruns though. Doing objectives such as hacks, any objective, honestly, it's really nice having that cryo ammo, especially if your whole team has it, because basically what you're doing is you hit them with the cryo ammo, you're slowing them down, and it's a massive debuff to their armor also. But more than anything, is to slow them down. You want to buy as much time on the hack as possible to be undisturbed, and cryo ammo really slows them and stops them in their tracks, especially if you get an Atlas or something like that and they're all jammed up behind the Atlas and you just keep hitting the Atlas with the cryo ammo. It really does well. I would definitely recommend it to any of you guys out there who like to do speed runs, especially the J speed runs. That's what we've been doing lately. We were using disruptor rounds a bit here and there because that does help too, but the cryo, just like I said, I can't really seem to find very many chances or opportunities to use it effectively. There's always a better ammo to use, so that's just been a really good option for me and my group of people that I play with. So yeah, give it a try, guys. If you're doing speedruns ever, I think you guys will like it. There is a couple opportunities. For example, with Incinerate Power, you can have it so it does extra damage to chilled or frozen targets. So that's a nice power that complements that ammo. But you know, like I said, there's usually other opportunities and other options to use it with. You know, to use with the characters that are better than using the cryo ammo. So as you can see here, I'm cleaning up wave 5. I got one Atlas left here. I'm definitely not going to be biotic charging that Atlas, because the last thing I want to do is to get insta-killed by an Atlas, especially after investing as much time in the game as I have already. So I'm just going to chip away at it, just keep on trying to hit that cockpit. I don't know if you get headshot damage with this weapon. I've heard that any weapon that does splash damage, you really don't get any headshot multiplier with, but I have felt in the past when I've shot enemies in the head with the Acolyte that it seems to do a bit more damage, but I don't know, who knows. I could be right, I could be wrong, I'm probably wrong. So starting off here on wave 6, we are going to get devices. Yay, disable all the devices. Okay, so you guys already knew that was coming, but anyways, so the first device is on the doorway that you go outside of the spawn, the lower end of the LZ. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and pull the enemies as far away as possible to this top corner of the map here, and just hang out here as long as I can without getting overrun or getting downed or anything like that. And then I'm just going to run around through the top of the LZ, go straight through the LZ, and hopefully have enough time on it to disable it. So let's see how this first device goes. This is a really dangerous one. I'm actually pretty sure that excuse me. I'm pretty sure that I get chased off of it right away. Actually, it's like I said, this is a really difficult device. This is the one that I dislike the most, next to the one that would be right where that brute is. Oh, looks like I got it. What a wonderful thing. Okay, so this next device is in the middle up top. Definitely another tricky device. If you notice, another thing that I do also when I have devices or any kind of escort, if I have to leave the escort or I have to leave the hack or anything like that, I'll try and take enemies down as low as I can to death. As you can see, that brute down there has 1 bar of health or of armor left, and I'll try and do that to as many enemies as I can throughout the objective. And that way, if an enemy gets too close to me and it's like let's say there's only 1 brute that's right beside me and I need to get a device done, then I can kill it really quickly and then get the device done, rather than having to pull the enemies away from the objective again for a second or potentially even third time. So as you can see right there, I also used that technique that I was talking about on wave 3, where I was almost dead, the device was almost done, and so what I did is I lined up a biotic charge, so that way right when the device was done I could biotic charge and replace my barriers. And that was a very close call on on device 2. But I was able to pull it off. Very, very close. It almost cost me a metagel. I'm actually really surprised that I pulled it off. So the third device is at the top of the LZ. This is a pretty easy device right here. Like I said on the third one, I think I got this device on the third one also. I like to line myself up with that box, so if anything comes through that lower door to the LZ, then they don't really have a line of sight on me. Looks like right there, for example, that Ravager, if I was doing the device and I'm behind the box there, the Ravager doesn't have an angle on me, so I'm fine. You have to excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse here. It's getting late, and I'm talking a lot, so yeah, bear with me, my voice is getting a little hoarse here. We got one more device to go for wave 6, and Looks like I got most of the enemies at the top, and this is a very simple device also. It can be difficult at times. They can get a good line of sight at the top of the long hallway there, the top of the ramp. They can get a really good line of sight on you if you're not careful, so that's why I'm trying to hug the wall here the best I can. So watch how quickly my cleanup is here because I've been chipping away at the enemies. The Ravager right there, 2 shots, a biotic charge, done and over with. That leaves 7 enemies left. As you can see, that Brute up there has 1 bar of armor left, and that's done and over. The other Ravager there only has 3 bars of armor, and as you can see, the Bomber there is really close to death also. So very few enemies left on the board have full health or full armor, so it's a very quick cleanup for me. I think even the primes, I'm pretty sure I've knocked them down a little bit. We have 1 Brute here. I think that's 2 enemies so far out of the 6 that I've killed that have full armor or full health, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So 1 more bar on the Brute. We'll finish him off with a quick little biotic charge, and that leaves me with 2 primes, and the wave is over. So I'm just going to stock up on my ammo here really quick, find a nice corner shot to see. That's another thing right there. I like to use the non-charged the non-charged Venom shot for is the Geth turrets. Works really well, and it's quick. And if you miss, you can just pop another one really quick, not have to worry about charging it. A lot of times the biotic charge won't finish off those turrets, so you can just follow through with a nice little non-charged Venom shot. So the Prime has 4 bars left. We're getting there quick. I should have biotic charged there first and then done my shots, but that's okay. I'm kind of getting a little sloppy here. Getting a little nervous. My nerves are definitely shot a bit. So another thing too that I want to mention that I keep on forgetting about, I should have mentioned this earlier, is when I do that, when I do the biotic charge first and I follow through the shots, what I like to do is right when I reload, I'll use the biotic charge as a reload cancel. So that way, it may not seem like a lot at first, but if you're not familiar with reload canceling, I would definitely recommend it. Learning how, it is applicable in a lot of different games actually. Call of Duty, you can reload cancel. I don't know if you can in Battlefield or not. I can't remember. I don't think you can. But there's a lot of games out there you can reload cancel. And say, you know, for example, a Platinum solo where we have about a 50, maybe 60-minute game, and you reload cancel on every single shot. So that means every 6 or 7 seconds, you're saving yourself 2 or 3 seconds on your reload. That may not seem a lot when you just think about it like that, but when you add it all up throughout the whole game, that's a lot more shooting. As you can see there, I almost got pulled out of that biotic charge by that Banshee. One of my previous attempts, actually, I was doing really well. I had a flawless game. I was on a very high level. I really don't want to talk about it because it was really frustrating, but I actually got pulled out of a biotic charge. I was about 10 feet away from the Banshee, and she pulled me all the way back. Maybe someday I'll compile all of these horrible incidents that have happened to me while doing solos and make a video out of it. It's amazing what you go through doing these solos and the cheap things that happen that aren't supposed to happen. I've been pulled out of, on a couple of videos I've done actually with Vanguards. I've been pulled out of biotic charges by the by the Phantoms and by Banshees, which is not supposed to happen. But you know, it is what it is. That's another reason why I am getting an Xbox, actually, is because that is basically chopped up to lag. When you have a Vanguard and you're playing off host, that's usually when you run into the most problems, but you still have problems on host also. So playing on the new Xbox One, you're going to have dedicated servers that are going to be basically there hosting the game for you, rather than having, you know, someone who has a bad internet connection or a wireless internet connection hosting the game, and you're wondering why none of your powers are working properly, or why you're throwing 3 grenades and 2 of them are going through the floor every time you throw them and not counting, or your tac cloak isn't disabling, or your recon mine isn't popping or being placed every time you put it out, or, you know, on and on. It goes on and on. I think that I know I've talked about the new consoles a little bit before. I've definitely mentioned that I'm getting an Xbox 720 360. Sorry, I definitely mentioned I am getting a little tired here. Sorry, guys. I am getting an Xbox One over the PlayStation. I think that they're both very good units. From the research and everything that I've talked to people about, there's a lot more exclusive games on the PlayStation, but I think it's more of a campaign-oriented system. I think if you like playing multiplayer games, you like playing co-op games online, the Xbox One is going to be the better system. Right now in Canada, we have, I believe it's 8 PlayStations are pre-ordered to every one Xbox. I've heard in the US it's about a 4-to-1 ratio, and I've heard in the UK or Europe it's about an 8-to-1 ratio. So that's huge. That is a massive difference. But my theory is that when people that get the PlayStation 4 that are used to playing on Xbox Live and they're used to having the network support that you have on Xbox, and they go and they play their Call of Duty and they're wondering why it's not up to par and it's not up to what they're used to, I think that we're going to see a lot of people buying Xboxes also. I think that PlayStation definitely won the battle for the pre-order and for Christmas, but I think over the long haul, the next year or two, we're going to see Xbox definitely catching up and gaining some ground on PlayStation. But, you know, it is what it is. They're both great units. If you were more of a campaign style player, I think that you can't go wrong with the PlayStation, definitely. They're both amazing systems. They're very similar in hardware specs. But like I said, the network support for Xbox and the campaign playing in a lot of the exclusive games for the PlayStation. Anyways, enough about that. As you can see, I'm on wave 7 now. I can say that wave 7 and 8, believe it or not, are probably my least favorite rounds against the Geth. I really, the more and more I do solos, the more and more I just cannot stand Banshees. They drive me nuts. I can deal with any enemy, any faction, but Banshees, they really bug me. The more and more I play with them, like I said, the more and more they just drive me up the wall. They push the pace faster than I want to be pushed. They're the only enemy that can really keep up with me and push me at a pace where I get uncomfortable. You know, I really don't like them. If I stop and try and kill them, then usually before I get a chance to kill them, the other enemies catch up, and then I'm in deep trouble. Or I'll get picked up, or I'll get Banshee pulled 10 feet from across the map while I'm doing a biotic charge, or it goes on and on with them. The fact they can teleport through walls, the fact that they can, rubber band you, or whatever you want to call it, they're just very dangerous. Their damage over time is massive. For those of you that don't know this already, I'm sure most of you veterans out there, I'm actually positive already know this, but if you're wondering why I'm not getting picked up by the Banshees on the steps, it's because it's an elevation thing with them. Basically, if you are on a higher elevation as far as stairs and ramps go, they have to be an actual stair or ramp. It can't be like a gradual small incline. For example, on Giant, that middle area where you have that really small gradual incline is not sufficient. She'll pick you up there. But any stairs or steep ramp, basically, if you're standing either higher or lower than them, then they can't pick you up. So what I'm doing there, my tactic is I'm hitting them with as many shots as I can, keeping either higher or lower than them. I actually prefer to be a little lower than them than higher than them. I just feel more comfortable with that. And every time they hit me or warp me, then I biotic charge right there, get my shields back, and then I pop them with a couple more rounds from the Venom. I get my 25% bonus after my biotic charge. There we go again. And I just keep on going until they're done and over with. As you can see here, the enemies have caught up to me. Pyros especially are very dangerous. The amount of DPS they drop is just, it's outrageous. Combined with a Marauder and a Banshee, it's a recipe for disaster. So, time for me to get out of there anyways. This Banshee only has 1 bar of health left, or armor, and now she's done and over, so that's great. Looks like the wave is winding down. I'm not looking forward to the next wave, though. So another thing too, heavy meleeing. A lot of times, it looks like I'm not taking a lot of damage when I'm getting hit a lot. Well, the biotic charge I'm pretty sure it's considered a heavy melee. I know that I'm not supposed to take a lot of damage while I do it, and that's a big part of my survivability right there. Same with a Krogan Warlord. I did a gold duo with my friend Ronan, and we actually got a flawless game with 10 ways survived on that duo. And the amount of damage reduction we took because we're constantly heavy meleeing, it was just insane. It really adds to the survivability on any melee build. You got to remember that you have a massive damage reduction when you heavy melee. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of trying to jam up the Banshee a little bit, let the other enemies catch up. This wave right here is the double Banshee wave, which really stinks. This is my most frustrating wave against the Geth right here, definitely. Wave 9 I think is a bit more dangerous, but I usually save my rockets for wave 9. Then I'll just run around and I'll usually spend 3 rockets on wave 9, so that way I can just knock that wave budget down a bit more and it's not so frustrating. But it is probably a more dangerous wave. But the double Banshees, like I said, not a fan. So I'm just basically going around. I think I'm going to stop talking for this wave. I'm going to catch up with you guys on wave 9. This is a pretty long, drawn-out wave. I'm just going around picking off enemies one by one. It's definitely a long, drawn-out wave. So I'm going to go I'm going to go grab a glass of water here, because as you can see, I am definitely tripping over my words. So I'll be right back. I'll catch up with you guys in about 2 minutes, and we'll take off where we left off. Okay, I'm back a little bit early. Looks like wave 8 is not complete. But as you can see, what I'm doing here, basically, any opportunity I can get to kill an enemy that's smaller than a Banshee, I'm going to take. I'm just trying to avoid them at all costs. As you can see, I'm a little out of rotation now. I'm going clockwise instead of counterclockwise. I wing it more on this wave. The Banshees are really the only thing I have to be worried about. Every other enemy I can deal with very quickly. I can either run from it or I can kill it right away on the spot. So I can definitely say Ravengers are a good thing to go for on wave 9. Any chance you have to kill a Ravager, take it. They are worth a lot on the point on the wave budget. They're definitely a priority for me whenever I see them. Another tactic that you can do that will help you deal with wave 8 on against Geth on Glacier is at the bottom there is actually a ramp, not a ramp, it's like a rafter, or it's kind of a ledge. It's above you at the very bottom. I'm sure you guys have seen it before if you played this map. The Banshees every once in a while will get stuck up there. So what you want to do is when you rotate around this map, you definitely want to go across the bottom. You want them to follow you down low, because every so often what will happen is one of the Banshees will get stuck up top. I'm actually rotating to that spot right now, so I'll point it out here in a second. Right there in front of me, above me, right there. That's where you want the Banshee to go. You want her to be right above there. If she goes up there and stays there, then you're in good shape, because then you have only one Banshee left to deal with. So there's a Ravager. Another thing too, if you can't finish it off and there's a Banshee close, just try and chip away at it the best you can. They don't regenerate their armor, so 2-3 shots as you pass by a Ravager is 2-3 less shots you have to take next time you pass by it to finish it off the next time on the next rotation. That's very close there. That was actually right there. That was the spot where I got pulled from a biotic charge on a couple of games ago, a couple of attempts ago on the solo. Basically biotic charged all the way across that center area to the staircase, and the Banshee pulled me all the way back. So as you can see right there, I was able to, oh no, was I? Let's see if I finished it off. Yeah, I finished off the Ravager on the second pass. So that's definitely a good chunk of the wave budget. Like I said, every chance you get to take a Ravager down, definitely take it. They usually spawn in the following spawn rate after you rotate past where you killed it. So definitely keep your eyes open after killing a Ravager, because it's going to be close. Just like any enemy. Actually, I wanted to point out that this is unedited. I'm definitely just winging this. It's unscripted. So bear with me if I stutter a little bit, or if I trip up a little bit on my words, or anything of that nature. This is a completely unedited commentary, so I just thought it would keep it a little more interesting. So bear with me if I make some mistakes. I apologize. Right there, that was a dangerous biotic charge. I really don't like to biotic charge past Banshees just because of the experiences I've had in the past with her pulling me out of the biotic charge. As you can see right there, the Ravengers are pretty easy to kill. You got to be careful. As long as you keep rotating around them, they really can't get a good shot on you. But like I said, take them out as much as possible. Pop those sacks. Definitely weakens their defenses significantly. If you can't finish them on one pass, then just weaken them the best you can and take them out on the second pass. Okay, let's see here. So I'm just still rotating around, still chipping away at this budget. Like I said, this is a nasty wave. It just takes forever. I wish that this wave was different. I would rather honestly have 2 primes than those 2 Banshees. I really, really would. A lot of people say that the Reapers are the easiest faction. I honestly, I don't know. I used to think that when I first started. Maybe they are the easiest faction, but they're definitely not the least annoying, that's for sure. Those Banshees, man, they just really drive me nuts. I think it's the mooks. All the smaller enemies are much easier to deal with. The Ravengers, the Brutes, the Marauders. As far as those enemies go, I could definitely say that the Reapers are the easiest enemy. But as far as the bosses go, I would much rather deal with an Atlas, or honestly a Prime even. I'd rather deal with a Prime. Pretty equal in annoyance. Primes are very difficult also, but it's just the way they move. They're very slow, they're easy to avoid. They're a lot easier to save for the end after you've knocked the wave budget down. but the Banshees, they're just up in your face. I know I'm sounding a little bit like a broken record here. I apologize, but man, they just really bug. They really bug, especially with a character like the Krogan Vanguard. Any character that doesn't have an evade, it just makes the Banshees so much harder to deal with and so much more dangerous. Just moving around the map, there's been many times where I've came very close to them insta-killing me. You just got to be really careful with these non-evasive characters. I think I would be crying about it so much if I was using a character like Edie or a Drell or any character that has a really good evasive ability or maneuver. The Krogans, they're just big and they're clumsy, and they are definitely hard to evade Banshees with, or even Phantoms at that. Okay, wave complete. Finally, jeez. That wave, like I said, what a nightmare. Okay, so we're going on to wave 9. You're going to see how much difference this wave is for me. This is a good reason to carry armor compartments, especially if you want to get your solo done a little quicker. You're trying to stress for time a bit. I don't really stress for time. I probably should stress for time a little bit more. I just try to do it the best of my ability. Like I said, a platinum solo is a platinum solo. It's difficult. I'm trying to get all of the maps done. It's definitely something that is on my things to do list. I want to do all the maps. Pretty much, I plan on doing. There's a couple different, I guess you call them completionist challenges that I'm going for. Once I get all the maps done, I'm going for all the Turians. I only have to do the Turian Havoc and the other Turian Soldier, and I've done all the Turians. I'll probably go for all the Vanguards. We'll see. We'll see when the time comes, but baby steps, right? All in baby steps. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to buy some time, get these enemies a little bit closer together, so that way my rocket's a little more effective. But I really wish I got that prime at the bottom too, but they spawned in right by the prime, so I'll take them out with another rocket. I definitely took a gamble there. By spending that many rockets on this wave, that was a gamble. If I get targets on 10, I'm going to have some problems. One wave that I like to talk about really quick, just to fill up some time here, is if you get targets on a solo, and let's say you get targets on 3 and on 6, well, 6 rockets will take out 6 targets. That leaves you with 2 targets left. Okay, so a big strategy is your thermal clips. So if I go in and I biotic charge an enemy, I shoot my 4 shots off, and then I biotic charge again, and then use my thermal clip. Those following rounds will have 100% extra damage, because when you use your thermal clip, your following clip, or 10 seconds after, you have 100% extra damage to those shots. So I'll use a thermal clip after my biotic charge. That gives me 100% plus the 25% for 5 seconds I get after my biotic charge. So those 4 shots that I'm doing with that Venom after using a thermal clip and biotic charging is getting 125% extra bonus damage, which is huge. That is huge. That's a really big bonus. So that's a big strategy for me when I'm dealing with targets and I don't want to use a rocket, or if I don't have a rocket to use, is I'll try and separate that target the best I can, sort of like pulling enemies away from a device, right? You want to pull as many enemies away from that target as possible, then you want to run to that target and knock it down as much as possible before the other enemies catch up. It's a very similar tactic to doing devices or hacks or escorts. You just pretend that target is the device, or that target is the hack, or whatever, right? And then you get to it and try to finish it off or do as much damage as you can to it before the other enemies catch up. A lot of friends that I have, when they do solos, they'll just scrap the solo if they get targets on 3 or on 6 or whatever. They'll just scrap the solo because to them it's a lost cause. They've had to use so many resources for one objective that they don't even want to try going on. But I've done a lot of solos where I've gotten targets and I've actually not even had to use a rocket on it, because I've just, I've taken my time, I've made good calls, made good moves, pulled enemies away from the target, and then secluded the target and dealt with them accordingly. So, when you do a solo, even if you feel like it's a lost cause, or you use too many metagels or too much of anything and you don't feel like you're going to make it, it's always worth trying. Keep trying. You don't learn by giving up, right? If you give up, then you haven't learned anything. You've learned that giving up is the easy way out. So you're going to learn a lot if you just try and you just keep going with it. Try to make what you can, and you'd be surprised at what you can do. This solo right here, I felt like quitting, especially when I saw the 4 objectives on wave 10 after getting them on 3 and 6. I felt like quitting. My gear is already getting pretty low right now. The next objective that I have is, I think I got one more prime and then I got my next objective. So I guess you could say that this video is a good example of how never giving up, never surrendering is the way to go. It's how you learn. I've actually become really good at doing devices because I always try with them. I always keep going. I never give up on them. I can definitely say that Condor solo, man, I really felt like giving up. I really felt the pressure, and I just kept trying, and I got it. Here we go. Devices on 10. Let's go. So first things first, I didn't want to rush to the device. I knew they spawned a little closer to it, so I went down to the dark alley. I'm trying to go pull them as far as I can, as far away as possible from the device. Man, it is getting late. I'm sorry, guys. I am definitely tripping over my words here. Okay, so Banshees are a big pain, but what you want to do to them is, if you hit them with enough damage, they'll stop chasing you. They'll continue chasing you, but they'll stop teleporting at you. So first things first is you get that Banshee to slow down, and then high heel out of there, get to the device as fast as possible so you can have some FaceTime with it and hopefully finish it. So I've done the best I can. I pulled them away as far as possible, but I have a Phantom right here shooting at me. I kind of did a dumb. I should have jumped off it a little bit sooner, but a little tired, a little hard-headed there. So I tried my best to hop on there, even though I had no, no barriers left, no health left hardly at all. So what I'm going to do here, it's getting really crowded. I'm not going to try and run out, but I'm just going to nuke. Didn't quite give me enough time to get the device, but it did save my life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull away. I've killed them all. Hopefully they spawn nice and tight together. And I'm just going to run over here to this dark hallway again and pull them as far away as I can again. Like I said earlier, that device right there is one of the worst devices on the game. With 2 Phantoms on the board, Banshees on the board, and all these other enemies, I mean, it's wave 10, like I said. This is a very difficult wave. There is just a lot of big enemies, fast enemies on the board at this point. So here's my second attempt. If I don't pull this off, I know I'm going to have problems. I know that it's winding down. I try to budget about 1 minute for each objective, and I'm already past that budget. So right here, I'm going to line up that shot and biotic charge, get my barriers back, and high heel out of there. A lot of close calls on this objective wave. It's definitely it's a very hairy wave. So I'm going to hang out here at the bottom, try and pull them away from the objective a little bit, and just beeline straight for this next one. And I can tell it's already crowded. We have a Banshee over there, so it's not going to work out. So I'm going to go back down to the bottom. And that was very close. Thank you, Venom Shotgun, for the stagger, because that just saved my life. Another close call. So we're going to try for this one more time. I'm going to run up the other side of the map after pulling them down low again, and hopefully have a better angle on this objective to where I can get on it and be a little undisturbed for a second here. And even though that prime is right there, a lot of times on these devices you can find a nice little angle. If you get into a corner nice and tight, then you can just not really get hit. And as you can see, I lined up that biotic charge and took off right after it was complete, and walked away not unscathed, but not dead. So next objective is at the very bottom. Very fortunate, because the last objective was all the way at the very top, so it doesn't get any further apart. I'm very lucky. That was a very smooth objective. One last one, and let me tell you right now, my palms were sweating. This was a very nerve-wracking game. So last objective, and it's not looking too good. Got a Phantom right by me. So really what I should do here, instead of rocketing, is I should have ran back to the bottom again and just pulled them away one more time. But, you know, like I said, getting a little tired. Platinum solos are definitely an endurance run. I actually, now that I think about it, I don't even think I had time to pull him to the bottom. So that was a very close call. 28 seconds left on the board. I pulled it off. I have no rockets for cleanup. I have 1 survival op and 4 thermal clips. So I'm not even going to say that this was easy in any way, shape, or form. Because if it was easy, I would have metagels left. I would have survival ops left. It would be really silly for me to say that this is easy when I used almost all my equipment. So I got a little FaceTime with the Banshee here. I'm going to chip her down a little bit, but it looks like we have a Phantom that's going to push me away. Oh, it looks like the Phantom's done and dealt with. Hallelujah. So, like I said, chip the enemies down as far as you can. Run away, deal with them, live to fight another day, right? So I'm going to be taking my time at this point. If you're going for a flawless game, or if you're going for 10 waves survived, and you don't want any downs or anything, you don't want to take any risks, right? Well, it's the same idea here. I basically want to take no risks. I don't want to get down, because that would end the game, and I really would like to save that last survival ops for an emergency on extraction. So I'm going to be as careful as I can. This is a bad situation. I could probably knock that Banshee down a little bit here, but I think it's better just to move. Try and separate the enemies a little bit more. At this point, I know there's a Phantom left on the board, so probably taking her out would be priority. She's sneaky. She can insta-kill me really easily. Then the Banshees would probably be next if I can. If in a perfect world, anyways, that's what I'd like to do. This Banshee, we only have 2 bars left of health. Armor left on her. So if I can strip these barriers before anything gets too close, I can take her down. As you can see, I do have some thermal clips left. So I think I used one right there. That really helps with taking her down a little quicker. And don't forget that I can always get one of the Banshees stuck up on that rafter at the bottom of the map. It doesn't work every time, but it does work quite often. So it didn't work that time, though. It would have been nice, though, if it did, let me tell you. Oh, there's that Phantom. So hopefully, let's see if I can take her out really quick here. She's very close to death, that's for sure. And looks like that the Prime at the bottom just rained on my parade. So I'm going to go down and put some rounds into him. Leave that Banshee and Phantom at the top of the map for a second. And there's the Banshee pushing the pace again. Man, those Banshees, man, let me tell you, they're so frustrating. Another thing too is you got to remember that Banshees can teleport through walls. So right there, probably to be a little more careful, I should have put my shoulder to the wall just in case. Because if she ends up right next to you on an equal level, she can pick you up on those ramps and on the stairs. So a good idea is always think about that with Phantoms. I mean with Banshees. Always think about the fact that they can teleport through walls. Like right here, that wall right there to my right, she could teleport through there if I was waiting on the stairs for her. So whenever I go and I want to do that little trick with the Banshees, I always go to the right staircase instead of the left one if I'm going to stand and wait, because that one's far enough away from the wall where she can't teleport through it. So definitely these little details. Always keeping these little details in the back of your head really help with these platinum solos, because they all add up and they all play a role in your survival and your success. It's a lot to remember, and that's a big part of why I say never give up. You know, even if you know that there's no way you're going to pass that solo, it's always best to try. Make use of that equipment. Don't waste it. You know, use it to learn. And another Banshee bites the dust. So all I got left to do is clean up, I believe, this Prime. There might be one more on the board. I'm sorry, I kind of lost track. But as you can see, my shot's a little off right now. My nerves are a little wrecked. I'm playing pretty sloppy. It is definitely an endurance run. And it gets my heart rate up to this day even. I've done quite a few platinum solos, and when I get towards the end, I'm not going to lie, my heart rate gets going and my adrenaline gets going a little bit. It's definitely an exhilarating experience. So 1 bar left. Hallelujah. And like I said, it's not looking, yeah, there's the other prime right there. Okay. So things are looking good. This prime is really messing me up here. Like I probably should have rotated out of here. I'm getting stunned all over the place. Both of the turrets are perfectly placed to where they're just hitting me over and over again. I'm having a hard time reloading. I'm having a hard time biotic charging. So really at this point, if I would have had my wits about me here and I would have been playing a little smarter, I would have rotated out of here and then dealt with him with a good like right hand cover, so that way I could corner shoot and not, you know, maybe only have to deal with one turret instead of both. But there we go, wave's complete. Now I just got to extract and not make a mistake. Now extraction on Geth is very difficult. You have, I believe, two Banshees, two Atlases. I think there's two Phantoms, and I can't remember what else. Maybe two Marauders. I'm not 100% sure, but it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous extraction. The primes move very slow. The Phantoms definitely push the pace, and the Banshees really push the pace. So it's on a map like this too, it's a very dangerous combination of enemies. One of the most dangerous combination of enemies in the game, I'd say. I really don't enjoy the collector extraction either. It's a very dangerous one. But yeah, this one on a map this small, you got to constantly keep your eyes open. You constantly check your flank. It's moving can be really dangerous if you move at the wrong speed at the wrong time. So you know, if you're on this solo and you're doing an extraction against Geth, just really pay attention to what you're doing, because this is the icing on the cake here. So I got about 48 seconds left on the clock. I'm thinking probably at this point one rotation around the map should drown that timeout. So I'm just going to go for one more lap really quick. If you notice, I am going clockwise instead of counterclockwise. I just kind of seem to flow better that way at that time, just the way the enemies were placed. I've definitely been playing both angles a lot more on my solos lately. Before, I used to really try to stick to one basic rotation. There's always going to be one rotation that's going to favor your playstyle or your character. Usually, you want to be able to shoot over right hand cover. You know, that's definitely going to be an advantage for you. So I don't know, figure out which way works best for you. It's good to get comfortable moving both ways around the map, just in case, you know, you run into a roadblock and you have to rotate the other way. So anyways, that platinum solo is done. Definitely a very difficult platinum solo. I'm really glad that I got it done and out of the way. I only have a couple maps left. Let's see, I have Hydra, I have Vancouver, I have London. What else do I have? I think that's about it. I might have one or two other maps. I'd have to look. Oh yeah, I got Goddess also. So I have 4 maps left to go, and I got all the maps done. Thank you guys for your subscription. Thank you guys for your views and your support. You guys have all been great. I really appreciate it. This is an unedited commentary, so once again, I apologize for any stuttering or any mishaps that may have taken place. I just wanted you guys to have some raw footage here, just so you can see me in my purest form, I guess, in my flawed form. Anyways, thank you guys again. And that was Glacier against Geth with the Krogan. Thanks again, and until next time, take care.